Hello, welcome back to Sushi Live Noding. So in this episode, we're gonna do yet another low polygon tree. I'm gonna be using Sverchok Add-On as well, but this time I will be using a grease pencil to kind of direct the tree. So the tree is of course just made up of the trunk bits and then the bush part, and then what I'm thinking is that with the grease pencil, if you are like maybe in the front orthographic mode, you can let the artist kind of draw the tree, and that way they have more control over the artistic. Oops, actually, I need to always draw the trunk path and then the bush. Yeah, something like that. So this is the final result. The notes looks complicated, but actually not that bad. Yeah, let's just get started from scratch. View orthographic from the front, and I'm gonna draw the grease pencil, so something like that. So this part, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna use the bounding box for it to measure the distance. So Sverchok Node 3 and let's use the GP sampling thing. Okay, so we have this set up, and we're gonna separate this trunk path and then the bush part. Grease pencil, let's get the grease pencil layer active. Plug in the frame number into this guy. Okay, all good. And the next thing we do, we want to separate the top and the bottom part. Save this as low GP low 3 demo. So separating the top and bottom, we also want the whole setup like this. So cut that thing there. List item. And I think we need to use a list item level 1 maybe. There you go. And this guy goes in there and goes in there. Okay, cool. They are now separated. The bottom part, I'll give it a different color. So bottom one red, top one can be green. Cool. All right, now let's continue. Start with the bottom part first. I will use the skin measure this time instead of the polyline viewer. Skin measure is, as you can guess, is a skin modifier. Turn on live and you get a skin mesh. You learn this when I did the cactus thing, and there's like a twistiness happening, but thanks to Sverchok developer, Zevi made some changes here. If you find a twistiness in the skin modifier, just turn off mark all and just mark some. That's actually pretty cool. This is gonna be really handy once you kind of apply like armature bones to the skin modifier. So like I said, this is a skin measure. It's just a node inside Sverchok that generates skin surf, and yeah. So that's really handy. That's the trunk pretty much done. Well, if you want to control the trunk a little bit more, you know, like the radius, just use the list range thing. I'm gonna leave it there for now. Let's see, I'll give it a color. If we have more time, I'm gonna go back to the trunk and make it a variations along the trunk. So the top bits is actually not that hard. The top bit is just a matter of randomizing the vector. Actually, randomize input vertices, plug this in there, plug this in there, show, randomize it in the y-axis. And by doing that, if you go and give it a convex hull, you should get this. So that's like a quick and dirty way to generate this tree. It's actually kind of quick and hacky, but it works pretty well. And the tree, of course, you can always randomize input vertices here as well for the tree trunk. Yep. And okay, basically for this guy, this amplitude can be more rounded somehow. I don't know, maybe attach another randomize input vertices over here. I don't know. For the actual y, this value is actually, I can make it dependent on the bounding box. So if you look at it, I'll hide this tree. So we let the artist draw the grease pencil for the 3 bits, and that part we can actually have some kind of bounding box. And with this bounding box, we can take basically this point and this point, measure the distance, and use the distance, half it for the amplitude of the y. So list item, and the item number, I'll show you what's gonna happen here. Distance, so this goes in there, this item and this item, get the distance, and math, multiply it by half, this plug in there, this should go into the y, and it should be level 1 or level 0, and seems to be complaining, doesn't seem to work. Well, actually it is already working. So how does this work again? So I'm taking the bounding box based on this grease pencil stroke, and if I use the vector index viewer index, and have a look at the points, you can see this number 7, 6, or 3 and 2. In this case, we are using 3 and 2. I think that should work. There's also number 0 somewhere, and then we can I'll actually use 6 and 7. It's gonna work as well. So it's gonna measure the width and then use that value for our tree. So we are done. So the trunk, I don't really quite like the trunk. It is just we need to somehow randomize it, maybe, or just use a range float, count, use list length, count the number of points along the trunk, plug this into the count, and this should be from 2 to 1 goes into the radius. So that's a little bit too thick, so reduce it. So that's a little bit better. You can also randomize it a little bit more, but that's kind of okay. Cool, okay, we are done with this. We can randomize the seed of the tree. Okay, the tree itself, we need to output it. Bmesh viewer, this guy and this guy goes in there. Cool. We can of course randomize this guy further. Currently it's not so great. Okay, smooth. We have this smooth vertices. This guy can round it, our tree a little bit. Just give it a little bit. Yeah, that's always kind of handy. Nice. Yeah, that's very nice. That's a little bit more rounded, and we can give it color now. Okay, so we have our procedural, like a semi-procedural tree. Once again, you can have the artist to draw the tree, you know, like the trunk and then the tree, and it should work nicely. You can, I don't know, make funky looking tree like that, or just a simple one, basic looking tree. If you're happy with one tree, you just duplicate it and, you know, and continue and making another one. This thing really give control to the artist. And then, yeah, I think I really like grease pencil and how it works together with Sverchok. And this way you can have all this beautiful looking tree. You can, yeah, I don't know, randomize it. You can use this and instance the tree. Actually, like 30 or 64 variation of the tree normally enough. You can randomize the rotation, etc. You can further, you know, add some kind of displacement to the tree or something. Yeah, maybe add like vector noise somewhere here. Other than that, this is pretty much it. So you let the artist to draw the tree like that, and it will generate the tree for you. Oh, it's only working from the front view. Okay, it's something to keep in mind. Thanks again for tuning in, and have any question, feedback, suggestion, let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video.